Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Tuesday? It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. I am Joe Gaither. You are the listener, the viewer, checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel or listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We appreciate everybody who is subscribed, rated, and reviewing the show so much. Gonna have a lot of fun on a Tuesday as we keep this bad boy rolling with my friend Mason Woods right here in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. Follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine, writing recruiting for all things Walsh Writing Network, Alabama, Missouri, and Boston College at the moment. And you can follow him right there for all of his great takes right there. Oh, and Titans takes as well. We're live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Derek Daniel and his team would be happy to talk to you. Look, I hope you left your pipes running last night in Alabama. Ooh, just dripping a little bit as it is very, very cold. But if you have any problems, make sure you are insured. And insured properly. Derek Daniel and his team can do that. Call them at 205-758-3391. They'll be upstairs all afternoon, regular business hours. You can call them and get all your insurance needs handled. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason Woods, good morning. We talked yesterday. We'll pick up one conversation, set you up to get going. We talked yesterday about the national championship game, where it was going to be on our TV hierarchy in the last bit of the show. Did it ever make the main screen last night? How you doing? Did you stay warm? And good morning.
I did manage to stay warm. It was nice in the house last night, but no, the national championship did not make it to the main screen. It stayed on mute on the second TV, on the second monitor. There was maybe a 2 or 3 minute, 5 minute gap there in the fourth quarter where Notre Dame made it a little interesting, but then they decided to send a zero blitz on third down and leave Jeremiah Smith in one-on-one coverage against someone who had no business trying to do that.
Live by the sword, you die by the sword.
And that was very quickly stomped out by the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, yeah, no, that game was not really ever in doubt for Ohio State. I don't think at any point, like I said, it was even when Notre Dame almost started to make it interesting, it was just a quick toss to Jeremiah Smith away from, all right, we're back in the driver's seat. So, yeah, that game was not what I maybe hoped it was going to turn into.
All right, so we want to talk about the national championship game, and we definitely want to get your thoughts on last night's game. We're going to talk about Alabama and Vanderbilt tonight. We're going to talk about the national championship game. We're going to talk about the final AP poll. Alabama comes in at 17, lowest ranking since 2007. And we're going to talk about Nick Saban's suggestion of a salary cap for college football. That is not the issue, Coach. It's not the issue. All right, so we got a lot to get into. We invite you to jump in on the comments at Joe Gaither 6 on the social media machines, wherever you like, where you find the podcast. We invite your comments. Okay, so last night, Ohio State, I did give it was one half. I teased everybody saying I would only give it the 30 minutes because Monday Night Raw started at 7. Well, it's on Netflix now, and it's so much easier to watch on demand. But I'm sitting there 6:30, and it's pregame hoopla. And it's like 6:58, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not starting Monday Night Raw because this game hasn't started yet. And I did give it the full first half on the main screen. And Ohio State, first off, kudos, Notre Dame, your script looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Bam, 9 Riley Leonard runs down the field, just grinding away the first quarter. I mean, I was like, okay, you've hooked me. Okay. We talked about it. Well, you got to hook me early.
Sure.
And you did. I was like, okay.
That certainly intrigued me.
I was ready to tweet it into the group chat for the sons and daughters. The last part of the fight song for the sons and daughters of Notre Dame. I was like, hey, Riley Leonard. I mean, they say he goes to the sideline, pukes his guts out, and then says, "All right, here we go. Let's keep going." Then they tried to throw the bleeping football. Like Ohio State flew right down the field, and you want to just maybe gloat a little bit about the touchdown play, the first touchdown play to Jeremiah Smith and where it came from?
Well, it was kind of just the way we thought it was all going to go. I think the way that, I think I don't know. There was that nagging bit in the back of my head that was like, I don't know. Notre Dame's had a good defense. They've gotten some turnovers this year. They've done some impressive things. But I never, I always knew in my heart of hearts that this was just going to be, okay, Jeremiah Smith can just do what he wants at any point. And he did exactly that.
Right. So they run the Steve Sarkisian, Devontae Smith action play. And you saw it all over your timelines. If you don't know what we're talking about, from 2020, they send Devontae Smith in motion out wide. It's the exact same formation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's flipped. Yeah,
it's
just inverted. That's all. But it's the exact same formation, inverted.
Yeah, you can put the plays side by side. And it looks like a mirror.
And Jeremiah Smith runs it. They overcommit to what was the teased kind of.
And you could even see the poor defender, like pre-snap. He's sitting there. He is jumping up and down, yelling, pointing at four, just
yeah. And he thinks they're going to go all end around.
Oh man,
that's. Where did his eyes go?
I think he turned and ran. I guess
looking
he started
for a path. Looking for a path to the outside.
I guess so. And he started focusing on, all right, where's he going to take it on this sweep? It just completely neglected the fact that all he had to do was turn around, and he's got a clean path to the end zone.
All right, so they fly down the field, and then Notre Dame basically puts it in Riley Leonard's hands. Well, my man's just puked his guts out. They can't really keep the running game going. Mm-hmm. And Riley Leonard's an okay passer, but obviously there was some misses there. There was just like, ooh, you missed that. Yeah. That should have been a layup, buddy. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of 4, 5, 7-yard passes that were just over his intended target's head. It's like, oh, come on, dial it down. Now, obviously the hype of a national championship game, and I've never been a quarterback, whatever. I can't say that for myself, but and the snowball started to snowball, and you got 14-7 real quick because they ran. TreVeyon Henderson was
dude, TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins last night were
woo. I've been seeing the Bears mock drafting a running back in the third and fourth rounds with some of our picks.
Is that the one you want?
TreVeyon Henderson. Ooh,
if he's there,
that's a sexy man. That is a sexy man right there. I will take you. Come play in Chicago. But he starts getting going. And then, Will Howard was just locked in. He was 6 of 6 in the first half, 6 of 7.
He was, I think, in the first half he had. I want to say it was. I thought it was 94% complete. He had one incompletion in the entire first half. It was the best completion percentage I think in college football history in the national championship.
Unbelievable. So I'm sitting there debating: am I about to turn it to Raw? Am I about to turn it to Raw? They get the ball back again, and they complete the third and long at the 2-minute mark. And I'm like, well, if they score right here, it's over, and I'm turning it to Raw. And they ended up scoring, and and I saw some text from my group chat. Oh, Notre Dame this, that, and I was like, is it getting better? I have an Ohio State fan in the chat, and he was like, maybe, I don't know, I'm nervous. And then and you see Jeremiah Smith play, and it's like, really, Ohio State was in control the entire way.
Yeah, they came out in the second half. Notre Dame got a couple, I think, two unanswered touchdowns there. Then they get the 2-point conversion. And it's like, okay, 8-point game, all you got to do is get a stop. And they just couldn't do it.
Were you paying close enough attention? Because I was not. People are making a big deal about Marcus Freeman kicking a field goal at one point, and they missed it. Because second half, I basically had just concluded that Ohio State won.
What was it, the third quarter, I want to say, maybe late in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. Field goal.
Missed field goal. This is 12 plays, 70 yards.
That was fourth quarter. So that was
fourth and goal. I think that was the 9-yard line.
I think that was their last drive, and it was kind of a thing where
that would have made it. Looks like 31-18. What's that number?
Okay, second to last drive then.
What's that number? 31-18 is 3 is 13. Is that a 13-point game?
Yeah.
So what in the world is the point of that? Because you're down 16. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. There's one of my 15 and 15 is 30. All right, you're down 16. You kick the field goal and you go down 13, or you go for it there, score. You're basically playing versus the 0 point. Anyway, you score and you go from 16 to down 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that 3 points or 0 points was virtually not different. There was no difference between those two outcomes there, really, for the final score there. Like, it was a bit of a questionable decision to kick the field goal. A bit overly conservative, it seemed. And obviously, like they did go out. The defense gets the 4 and out on the very next drive, right after missing the field goal, and then they get the ball back. They go down and score the touchdown. Gets 2 point, and then it's back to an 8-point game. But yeah, I don't. I'm a little perplexed by that, given just the situation and kind of like you said, it's the difference between the 3 points there and the 0 points. There isn't much because neither of them help you out a whole lot.
Well, congratulations, Ohio State. Most expensive roster in football. Well, maybe besides Oregon. You got to spend your money wisely, and you got to spend it on the right guys. I didn't think Will Howard was that great of a pickup, but obviously, man, Chip Kelly got a lot out of him. And Quinshon Judkins was incredible. Caleb Downs had a weird year, but kind of found a home.
Hit his stride the last 3-4 games.
Right. So congratulations, Ohio State. We will see what they lose in the transfer portal. You're already seeing a couple Buckeyes in the portal today, and you will see what they lose to the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl said, he put out a tweet. He said, for the 7th straight year, the team with the most NFL talent, and he said, trust me, wins the national championship. And then he listed the last 7 national champions. And, obviously Michigan had a lot of draft picks last year. Sure. You remember Georgia having a lot of draft picks the year prior, the last 2 prior years, and then Alabama in 2020 having just all kinds. That 2020 team had so many had so many pros on it. So yeah, that is the name of the game. And when you look at this Alabama roster, Mason, that was in 24, not that will be in 25, but that was in 24. And you think about the NFL draft coming up, maybe we shouldn't have been surprised at 9-4.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've run through it on the show before, but what do you got in this draft? Maybe 5 picks?
I cannot get over, even last night, Pro Football Focus draft mock draft simulator, Tyler Booker, 3rd round. To my Bears, great, love it, thanks, please, but yes. 3rd round?
Yeah.
That seems absurd to me. So when I see my Bears fan friends like putting out these PFF stuffs and putting out these mock drafts and Booker in the 3rd round, I'm like, my natural inclination is to jump in their comments and be like, he's not lasting that long. The simulator's broken. The simulator's messed up. He's not lasting that long. There's no way. But again, if he's your 2nd best NFL prospect behind Jahad Campbell, well, no bleeping wonder you're struggling to find consistency and dominate on the field this year. I mean,
yeah, this is it's disappointing because obviously we all thought throughout the season like this team can compete with anybody. This team is one of the best teams in the country. So on and so forth. But yeah, you just kind of get to the end of the year here, and you just realize that from the start, maybe this team was not the same caliber of some Alabama teams of past. From the jump, they didn't quite have the same amount of talent. From one position to the next that they have in previous years. It was now all that to say, I don't think they're in a bad. I don't think they're in a bad spot. I think next year's team is loaded with a bunch of NFL talent, a bunch of guys who will be talked about in the NFL draft, notably guys on the offense, especially. But yeah, it's a bit of a disappointing outcome.
Okay, I think this team. I think this team compares best to who? Does it compare best to the 2019 team where Tua bust his hip? No, I don't think so. I think this team compares best from the Saban era. I mean, obviously, 2007 is the most direct comparison. But I think this team probably compares best to the 2014 team. They actually did win the SEC title and make it to the college football playoff, but lose to Ezekiel Elliott, having him run all over you. You had this as far as your NFL talent. These players came out in the draft. Amari Cooper, 4th overall. Okay. Landon Collins, 33rd overall to the Giants. TJ Yeldon, 36 overall to the Jags. Justin Fowler, you had a huge jump, 108 to the Titans. Ari Kwanjo, you're in the 4th round again. So 1 first rounder, 2 second rounders, 2 4th rounders. Justin Fowler, Ari Kwanjo at 112. And now 2 7th round draft picks. Austin Shepard at 228 to the Minnesota Vikings, and Xavier Dixon at 253 to the New England Patriots. Now, I think the 2014 team was coached by Nick Saban, and you had Lane Kiffin as your offensive coordinator, and you did have an elite offensive player in Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
I think you squeezed all the juice out of that 2014 team. Didn't you lose to Ole Miss?
Nope.
Isn't that right? And then you basically went on a run until losing to Ohio State. That's kind of how I see this past year's team.
I think that's a pretty good comparison. Just kind of, you look at both of them. They both had flaws throughout the season. There was both. Maybe we were turned a blind eye to it, but there was definitely gaps in talent on both of those teams, in certain positions. And they were deficient in some spots, and you didn't want to necessarily point it out at the time, but looking back, it's like, we kind of all saw it throughout the whole season. And when it came to the point where they were able to be exposed by a team who had the ability to do that, they were. Ohio State did it, Oklahoma did it, Tennessee did it, Vanderbilt did it, Michigan did
it. Okay, so I'm using this to jump into kind of the second topic. Alabama finishes the AP poll. Obviously, the final AP poll gets put out today, and obviously, who cares to some degree, but it is the final AP poll. So it is a big deal. Alabama finishes at 17. Here you go, Mason. Ohio State won. Obviously, they got all 56 first place votes. Duh, easy decision.
Could beat Michigan, though.
Notre Dame 2. Oregon 3, Texas 4, Penn State 5, Georgia 6, Arizona State 7, Boise State 8, Tennessee 9, Indiana 10, Ole Miss 11, SMU 12, BYU 13, Clemson 14, Iowa State 15, Illinois 16, the Alabama Crimson Tide at 17, Miami at 18, South Carolina at 19, Syracuse at 20, Army at 21, Missouri at 22, UNLV at 23, Memphis at 24, and primetime Colorado at 25.
Just had to sneak Colorado in there.
9-4, weren't they? Isn't that what I wrote down? Yeah, 9-4.
Yeah.
Others receiving votes: Navy, LSU, Michigan, Kansas State, Marshall, Ohio, Florida, TCU, and Texas A&M.
Florida should have been there over them. Well, I don't know. What they do? It's not even important for the 25 spot.
Exactly. But this is your lowest ranking since 2007.
Yeah. Who cares?
You're not using it as fuel, or are you seeing it as?
Do you think that you can turn this into fuel if you're Kalen DeBoer for these players? Like, do you think any of them give a damn?
No. No, because you know what they say. Well, what I'm assuming. Oh man, you should be so disappointed. Y'all finished at 17. Turn around, coach. They don't know what they talk about. They don't know what they talk about. They don't know.
Oh yeah. I don't know how much you can really squeeze out of this one. Especially considering
who cares about those stupid voters?
Even throughout the regular season, the AP poll means nothing because the college football playoff now. So that poll in and of itself does not have any credence on the season. So maybe if they did a season-long college football playoff ranking, or they started week 1 and ranked everybody, and then you could point at it and be like, they don't believe in you. Maybe that would have a little more weight behind it.
Did you see? I don't really want to jump into 2025, but we started to see. Let's see, likes. Where was it? Because I liked his thing, wasn't it? Brett McMurphy. No, I didn't like it. Brett McMurphy. Yeah, you guys will love him. From the Action Network, puts out his way too early top 25 for next year. Or was it Alabama? That's not what I want. Alabama. He had the Crimson Tide at 23. Is that what it? Yeah, right there. Alabama. Yeah, 23 next year.
It's okay. I saw somebody. What was it? Was it ESPN that put it out there way too early? Had Auburn like 12th or something
On 3 Sports.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. I knew it was somebody
on
big.
On 3 had Auburn as a top 10 team.
That's a choice.
On 3 Sports was just needing some Auburn clicks that day. Needing some Alabama hatred that day. Needing to poke the bear a little bit.
Man.
So, yeah, 17. Are you disappointed?
I mean,
is it a failure?
Sure. I mean, yeah, you did come into the season hoping. I mean, you go in every season trying to win a national title. That is the goal of every season. You did not do that. So, yes, you failed this season. However, I don't think the season as a whole is a failure. I think it's a bit of a strange distinction to make, obviously, but like you failed, you are not a failure.
Yeah.
You still did a lot of really good things this year. We have talked about it at length, but like the amount of turnover and things that happened behind closed doors in that building that nobody was privy to, that we did not have access to. All of that crap that had to be figured out, for the most part, was figured out and like done so really quickly, really efficiently, really, really in a good way. So there's just so much good to take from this team moving forward with a new coach, a whole new look to the program, a new identity to the team. There's so much good you can take away. But yes, you did fail in the end. You failed. You are not a failure.
I can accept that. You finished as the 4th highest ranked SEC team behind Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee. Texas at what? 4, Georgia 6, Tennessee at 10. I think is what I wrote down. I mean, it just is what it is. A lot of people have been a lot of my family friends who maybe don't follow football as much are they going to fire the coach? Asking, not suggesting, because most of my family friends are not Alabama fans. Most of my family friends are asking how the season was received, and I'm like, well,
not well. I'm not going to lie to you.
But I think it was very different inside the building than outside the building.
I agree.
And inside the building, I mean, obviously disappointment. I'm not going to say that they are happy that they missed the playoffs. No. But I think there's some semblance of, we got through it and it didn't all fall apart.
We didn't go 0-10 or 0-12.
Right. We got through it, and sure, we had some embarrassing losses, but we won the dang Iron Bowl. And
we beat Georgia.
We beat LSU in Georgia. Okay, we had some high moments to hang our hats on. So 17, not what you wanted, not what anyone was expecting, but probably about the right number. I mean, you want to talk about people talk about rankings all year long. Alabama too high, Alabama too low. We should be in top 12. I think 17 seems about right
for this team. I think so too. I don't feel confident that. I think they could maybe give a challenge to some of the teams ahead of them. I don't feel confident that they would beat a whole lot of them.
No. I think they landed right about where they should be. All right, Mason Woods, we got a couple comments on the show. We appreciate everybody commenting on the show. Everett Osmer, good show. Joe, love your hair. I am way overdue for a haircut, but we are, we're rocking the hair on this show. I love Mason's look, and we are rocking the hair. I need to maybe try to match Mason with the mustache or so. Julian Lee. Let's say Julian Lee. Hey, Joe Gaither. Hey, Mason Woods. Roll Tide, y'all. Beat Vandy. Love y'all. We love you too, Julian. Thank you so much for jumping in and commenting on the show on Facebook at Joe K36. You can always do that on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Mason, we are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios right off of McFarland Boulevard. You can call us at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Derek and his team, Red, Reese, and Victoria, will be happy to walk you through any questions that you might have. Get you a new homeowner's insurance quote, auto insurance quote. You're looking to buy a car. You want to get a quote before you buy the car. They can set you up with that. You need anything in the insurance realm. Renter's insurance, boater's insurance. You need an umbrella policy to take care of a lot of different things. They can handle that for you at 205-758-3391. Derek Daniel and his team will be happy to help you. Call them today at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. All right, big dog, let's get into basketball. because we weren't involved in the national championship game last night. So who bleeping cares?
I really don't think that that's just an us thing. Like, I don't think that that's just an Alabama, Southeast. I really feel like the rest of the country didn't care that much about this game. I saw some talk about it today. Some people saying like, "Oh, that's just your opinion because you're local to the Southeast, you're local to Alabama, whatever." I truly believe that a large portion of the country did not really care about this game that much.
Then why were the tickets $4,000 at kickoff?
Because they just turned it into a celebrity event. It was a Travis Scott concert.
Okay, all right.
Why?
It seemed popular to me.
Yeah.
It seemed like the people wanted to be in there. It seemed
well,
like
sure, of course they wanted to be there. They paid $10,000 to be there,
rocking and rolling.
I don't know.
It will be interesting to see what the ratings number.
I am intrigued. I'm never like someone who cares about ratings, but I'm just like interested because I'm curious.
I wonder like how they would. My TV in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch it from 6:40 to halftime, so right about 8 or so. But I did turn it off. Absolutely. I wonder like what that calculates on their scale as like of one view or a half a view or what. It'll be curious. I think that was just narrative.
Maybe a bit.
And I think that was people trying to complain. Like, you've got a lot of people that hate Notre Dame. You have a lot of people that hate Ohio State.
Sure. You also have a lot of people that love both of them, though, in very prominent media places.
I bet you the number is going to come back pretty nice.
It might.
It's Notre Dame. It's Blue Blood. They got coast-to-coast viewership.
Yeah.
Hail to Notre Dame, wake up the echoes.
We're too far from the regular season. And I did see somebody say that
wake up the
I saw someone say that it's always been this way. And I was like, I don't really know if I necessarily agree with that either, that it's always been
ever to conquer, ever to win.
We get past the new year and nobody cares about college football anymore. I don't think that's the case. But I think we're a little too far now. We're a little too far into 20 days into the new year is too long, too far to be caring about college football. We need to, as a society, we can all shift to the NFL. Right around the January 10th mark or so. This is too long. We need to tighten this. We need to tighten the season up a little bit. I would care more, I think, if this was closer to December.
Well, that's a valid complaint. I think that's an absolutely valid complaint, and people were making that complaint. You had 2 weeks from the regular season, from the conference championship game to the start of the playoff. You cut that by 1 week, and then you had 9 or 10 days between most of the rounds. You cut those by 2 days each, and you're playing every 7th day, right? Every 7th, every 8th day instead of 9 or 10th day. I think you would get done a little bit quicker. And because, last night I did have to, tonight's the national title game. Because let me tell you, I did have plans last night until the extreme cold came in. I was like, I better cancel those plans. And I hope everybody stayed safe for sure. But like literally, if I hadn't canceled those plans, I wouldn't have watched it. I would have just caught up on Monday Night Raw after my plans. But like just circumstantially, you're staying in for the night because of the weather. Oh, I'm staying in. Oh, it's a national championship. I'll watch a half.
It was. That was kind of. Like I said, it never piqued my interest enough for me to turn the sound on. It just kind of stayed on mute over there. So maybe next year will be different. Maybe it is just my own bias that Bama's not there. But I don't know.
Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small? Notre Dame.
Let's talk about Vanderbilt.
Is it? To me, that's the best fight song in college football.
No, that sucks.
What?
That sucks. It's so lame.
Oh, da, 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 da.
They suck.
All right, Vanderbilt.
Bunch of wussies. Too scared to join a conference.
Dude, too scared, too smart.
Oh, we need our own TV network for Notre Dame. I hate them so much.
Do you know? One.
Oh, so soft.
Alabama.
Soft program.
Alabama could do that. Go independent. And should.
No.
And get our own damn TV deal.
No.
All the money to the Crimson Tide. No. Instead of sharing it with bums like Mississippi State.
All the money to Notre Dame and they ain't done jack with it.
What a great strategy.
Soft program.
Great
soft. S-O-F-T.
Do you like sharing money with Mississippi State and Vanderbilt?
I don't care. Alabama produces. It doesn't matter. They produce. Notre Dame,
exactly.
Notre Dame does all of this soft crap to set themselves up above everyone else because they think they're better than everyone. Oh, we wear gold helmets. Ooh,
They're beautiful. Tradition.
We have a church on campus. Ooh, we're better than
Are you
everyone
making fun
else.
of Jesus?
Notre Dame,
Touchdown Jesus licks over the stadium.
You have done all of this work to place yourself on this pedestal above everyone else, and then be able to spit down on us little people down here, us little Southerners that play.
But
you
Alabama.
just play that dirty football down there.
They're not spitting on us.
They think they are,
but they're not. They're spitting on Ohio.
They don't spit on anyone.
They're spitting on Ole Miss.
They maybe spit on Army and Navy. Maybe they don't spit on anybody.
Not last night.
God, I hate Notre Dame. I can't stand them. I will never be objective when I'm talking about the Irish. Cannot stand that program. Just soft as soft can be.
But
reeks of toilet paper. Soft like Charmin.
You don't see the advantage of not being in the conference, though? They can play Army. Look, if we are who we say we are, Alabama, blue blood, Pioneer, the Standard, we don't need to be hampered by South Carolina, by Missouri.
But we do it because we're men.
We should take. Look, they made $20 million last night and didn't have to share it with anybody. Ohio State
and you know what they're going to do next year with it?
They sent that money to their rival. Ohio State said, "Here, Michigan."
That's okay. Who won the title?
Well, now Ohio State and Michigan are back to back, so we'll see what Bryce Underwood.
All that setting up, and you ain't got nothing to show for it, Notre Dame. How about you position yourself a little differently? How about you try what everybody else does? Maybe it'll work out. Because clearly this doesn't. I mean, you tried. Even this year, you lost to Northern Illinois.
In the new age of NCAA, you need all the money you can get. We don't want to share with nobody. What are we doing? If we make the playoffs and we got to send a check to Auburn, or the SEC sends a charity check to Auburn.
It's okay.
Oh, we should look to going into.
No, thank you. That's the softest thing that any program could possibly do.
Then we get a yearly home and home with the Fighting Irish.
No thanks.
Yes.
I mean, I'll take that, but I have no desire to go independent. That's the antithesis of college football.
We can skip the SEC championship game. We don't have to worry about that nonsense.
Boo.
We don't have to worry about that nonsense.
I mean, if you're soft and you don't like football, that's cool. You know, I like football personally. I like to see, grown men hit each other at maximum speed and maximum force on the football field. We can tell Auburn that we'll never play down there at Jordan-Hare. If you want to play this damn rivalry, it's always up here in Bryan State because we're independent. Yeah, but we don't have any rules. But then they get to call us soft because that would be extremely soft. And no. Alabama is not soft. We say we'll play not soft. Your home Notre Dame, you're soft. Indiana, you're soft. Your home game's at what is it? Prudential Field or what's the Providence Field? What's the in UAB? Shoot. Protective Stadium. Thank you. I knew it was a P. Sorry. No, Auburn. Well, remember tradition, Auburn. Well, that's your home games are at Protective Stadium. That's where we'll play y'all. Soft. I hate it. We dictate all the terms, baby. All right. That's a very lame way to play. I'm going to make all the rules and set it up so only I can win. You know who did that? The losers did that in school. In Notre Dame, you're a loser. Well, last night they definitely were a loser. And you will be. Vomited on the sideline, Riley Leonard. You got sick for nothing. Perfect culmination of that game. Alabama tonight. 6 o'clock on the hardwood. 12.5-point favorite against the Vanderbilt Commodores. The Commodores coming in here. A little feisty. Beating Tennessee last game. Almost choking that game away. They trying to choke that game away. They lost to Mississippi State at home. They lost on the road to Missouri. They beat South Carolina, and then they beat Tennessee at home. So they're on a 2-game win streak. Sitting there 15-3, first-year coach Byington, Alex Byington, first-year head coach, and they will get after you on the defensive end just a little bit, turning people over 10.2 times a game. Oh no, that's not right. Steals. Steals 10.2. Steals and turnovers 10.2. So they're basically negligible in the turnover department. What does old Kenny Pomeroy say about Vanderbilt? Control F. Vanderbilt is at 49 in Ken Palm. Alabama should dominate this game. 40th in offensive rating, 69th
in defensive rating.
This is a Cliff Amore game.
Their adjusted tempo is 53. We want to run, baby, run.
Oh, yeah.
Against they're at 70.3. Alabama, last I checked, was at number 1 in adjusted tempo. Has that changed today? No, they're Alabama 4 in offense, 42 in defense, number 1 in tempo. Ain't nobody running as fast as the Tide.
I'd like to see Cliff and Grant go for about 50 combined.
On lobs alone,
Mm-hmm.
on Mark Sears, LeBaron
It should be
Philon,
pretty easy.
Aiden Holloway,
The
lob.
tallest player on this roster is 6'8".
Lob.
Not a big team.
This is
one of the few teams. I mean, you do have Amore now, but historically under Nate Oates, you've not typically had the size advantage against teams. You certainly have the size advantage against Vanderbilt. This should be a get the ball into the paint and let the big men go to work game.
That's what I want right there. Vanderbilt, they're shooting this year. That's what, because he did the weird thing in the offseason where he changed all their positions to guard online.
They're all
right?
guard. They're all listed as guard or forward.
Right. No centers. Let's see. Here's what I want. I want not that. Yeah, I want team. Yes, team.
But no one on
they're
this team
shooting.
is very physically
Golly, oh
imposing.
my gosh, not good. They're shooting 28% from behind the 3-point line as a team this year, making 6 per game. Their free throw percentage 70% from the line, making almost 15 a game. They're almost 40% from the floor, scoring 67, 68 points a game. Really, really not so good by the Vanderbilt Commodores, allowing, if I'm reading this right, 37% 3-point percentage. So not that good. What do we think here? 20-point smackdown. We see in the first half haymaker. Is that the move?
I think it should be that. Yeah. Now we've seen this Alabama team come out and lay some eggs, and we've seen teams that do force turnovers, especially teams that get a lot of steals. Maybe play well against Alabama. But I think just matchup wise, Alabama matches up super well with what what Vanderbilt does poorly. Alabama does really well. And they should really be able to, like you said, get out and run, get out and force the tempo of the game to match what they like to play at, and then just pretty easily get the ball inside and consistently get to your first option in the offense, which is a dunk or a layup.
Yeah, I'm looking for a huge game, really. Okay, so they've got a handful of guards averaging double figures.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like we said, everybody's almost listed as a guard as kind of a gimmick. But A.J. Hogard from Michigan State, 11.1. Jason Edwards, 17 points a game. What you need to do is treat it like it was Saturday. Like, you need to take your lessons and continue it from last Tuesday. Like, should this team be on the floor with you? No, they should not be on the floor with you. Ole Miss definitely talent-wise had an argument to say we should be on the floor with you, but you still treated them beneath you. You got to take it seriously. 12 or fewer turnovers, period. 12 or fewer turnovers.
Because that's the only way you lose this game.
Right. Hit the dadgum offensive rebounds. You miss these threes, it's fine. Go get long boards, extend your possessions, and rebound the basketball in the defensive end. Run, baby, run. Get up and get down the floor. Because when this team plays the NATO system and plays hard, which is a part of the NATO system, like, I don't want to sit here and say they're unbeatable because, man, that's silly. That's just not accurate. But it feels that way.
Yeah.
And so all you got to do is don't turn the basketball over. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over.
It sounds so simple.
Get shots.
Oh, they make it look so hard, though. Oh, man. Just, you have the ball. If you're going to put the ball on the ground, shoo that defender away. Focus on exactly where you're going to put that ball. Just, we cannot have any errant passes. No, let's not. Nobody try to get fancy with it. I don't need no looks. I don't need,
because as you
let's just play some nice fundamental basketball. Let's get it inside. Let Cliff work. Let Grant work.
You've got monsters on the inside.
Work if he wants to play tonight, or if he wants to play in this game. Who knows? Just let the big man handle it. Just I want this game to just look. and I still want it to be very fast, but like I want it to just look like it was 1965.
No,
Just get down here, ball inside, dunk. Get down here, ball inside, layup. Get down, ball inside. I think that the way Vanderbilt is built, they cannot stop that in this game.
As long as you finish, even with a 3-point shot.
I mean, I'll take
your big men will get you rebounds and they'll get you putbacks. Just don't turn the bleeping basketball over. It's that simple. You'll get to the free throw line, but when you get into the lane, Mark Sears, and get fouled while you're trying to pass it off or whatever, or trying to finish at the rim, like you're gonna get to the free throw line. Okay, the team has struggled from the line as a whole, but took a huge step on Saturday, and we all know they're good shooters. So it's like, come on, it's gonna click for you from the free throw line. You just got to stick with it. So just don't turn the dang ball over. It's that simple. In with it. Like I don't love the 3-point shot from the parking lot. I really don't.
I hate it.
But
but
like if that
keeps you from turning it over, so
that shot too, and let somebody go get a long rebound.
I'll take my chances with a rebound.
Go get a long. There we go. Yeah, here we go. What do you make of this? Yesterday, Coach walks into the press conference and goes, "Oh, we were going a little long today. We wanted to emphasize last Tuesday's lesson for tomorrow."
Good. Do more of that, Coach. Where was this? Why don't we do this every game? Please, more, Coach. More of that. More long practices if that's what it takes. Hammer whatever you told them on Tuesday. Let's just hammer that right in a little harder this week, because it definitely worked for that game against Kentucky.
All right. So, what do you think about tonight? What you thinking about an outcome for the Crimson Tide? 12.5-point favorite.
Cover.
Just your number here.
Give me the points.
Vandy's averaging 82 points. Alabama averaging 90 points a game. What you feeling here?
I'm going to go 96 to 79.
I think Alabama's going to get to that 100 mark again. 102, 83, 102, 82, 102, 82. Nice and 19. So give me a 102, 83. That's what I want. 19 points for the Crimson Tide. Still a little questionable on Darian Reed. Doesn't seem like he's going to play again as he's recovering. Coach says that he needs to kind of fully recover. That if he goes back out there and gives it a go, he could get hurt further. And so you're just going to have to be patient with Darian Reed.
I think we talked about it. This is kind of the stretch where you have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you got Vanderbilt and LSU, your next 2 games, 2 very winnable games. Let's get him healthy, Coach, and see what he can do down the stretch. You'd much rather have him towards the tail end of the season than right now if you had to choose one or the other.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's, it's obviously going to be tough. Makes things tougher on everybody else when he's not out there, especially defensively. And you will miss him, but it's much better, like you said, to have him but fully healthy for the end of the season, potentially, a run in March.
All right. So we're both giving Alabama a pretty big old win. You can let us know your comments or your thoughts on the Crimson Tide. What do they have to do to beat the Vanderbilt Commodores tonight? Right there in the comment section at Joe Gaither 6 or on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Whatever you like, you can let us know your thoughts on the ball game tonight.
Hopefully they don't disappoint us or make us look stupid.
Well, we are stupid, so it's okay. No, I'm just teasing. What do you think? Last topic for the day, as we're at 45. We want to round it out. We want to thank everybody who's listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. Watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Last topic for the day, Nick Saban, always out there now because he's part of the media machine, says that college football needs an NIL cap.
Mm-hmm.
Boo this man. Boo this man hard. Coach, boo. He says it's not fair that if one team can one team spends, I think he said 20 million was his number, and another spends 3. He might have said 30 million.
I think it was 30 and 3.
Yeah. I guess the numbers aren't really important in that quote, but basically, if the teams can be spending at a different rate, if you do a salary cap, Coach, how are we going to do it? Do we accommodate the Ohio States and Oregons of the world, where the salary cap is $20 million?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you accommodate I don't want to make any enemies here, UCFs, the San Jose States, the Texas, TCU probably has a huge budget. What's a middling school? Minnesotas of the world. Like who gets to determine where the salary cap is? Is it Miami, who gets to spend out the wazoo? Or is it Mississippi State?
Does not get to spend. Yeah,
like
I don't.
Washington State. Yeah. Like, wait, I'll set this line, Coach.
I don't know. It seems like it's one of those comments where it's going to get a lot of people who are like, "Yeah, Coach, you're right. Coach Saban, right again." But it's kind of just a nothing burger statement. Like you can't, because of exactly what you just laid out. There's not really a way to do that unless they were to separate the big boys from the other ones, which, sure, I think in the long term, that's probably what's going to happen and what I want to happen. But that would have to come with this. You can't just set a blanket, because even if you set that salary cap, you know how many schools will still not even be able to reach close to that salary cap, what you set it at, probably, because you have to play with everybody here. You're going to have to make everyone happy. So it's going to be, if I had to guess, and this is ballpark, I don't know, just pulling a number out of thin air, probably like an 8 to 12 million, maybe even more. UCF, Minnesota, the teams, Mississippi State's even, they are not competing anywhere close. Way to go about doing that, Coach. It's a really cool idea, but there's no plan to get there. And I don't know if he really thought about it when he said that, or if he just was kind of just talking to talk, trying to drum some things up. But this is not one of those. This is not an example of like, oh, Saban's right again. He's here to save football. Like, he didn't really say anything with his statement.
I mean, it's great in theory.
Yes, but
because everybody relates to the concept in the NFL.
Yeah,
they say, "Oh, I know my team, the Bears, the Titans. I know what their salary cap looks like, and how much they're spending on the quarterback, and how much they're spending on the left tackle, X, Y, Z, ABC." You get it.
The discrepancy between the Tennessee Titans and the LA Rams is not nothing. It is between Ohio State and Minnesota.
Exactly. Those 32 franchises are pretty much playing the exact same game within
you're the Raiders.
Some margin.
Mark Davis has no money.
A little bit of margins there, but they're tiny. Do you set it at 20 million, Coach, to accommodate the Ohio States because we got it?
We're just in the same thing we're at now.
Right.
Nothing's changed.
Right. It's not the right fix. The attack has to be on the portal. The change has to be on the portal. It has to be. And look, I love player movement. Oh, I went to school. I made a mistake. I don't like the coach. I don't like the environment. It's not the right fit. It's not the right academics. Mm-hmm. I broke up with my girlfriend.
Whatever.
I didn't get in the right fraternity. Whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter. I transferred. Yeah. You get it. That happens.
They are 18-year-old kids making a potential life-altering decision at the end of the day. Like, I think you should give them a little credence, maybe get one mistake. You get one mulligan.
I keep going back to the Coach Saban story last January, where he says I'm having end of season meetings, and Charlie recruit, I'm not naming names, but Billy freshman's coming in saying, "What are you going to pay me next year?" University XYZ is offering me this number. What is that? That is what is messed up in this sport. Because look, I'm easy to suck in and be loyal. right? But when I like Billy Freshman and I want to donate to the school for Billy Freshman, and then Billy Freshman goes in the portal and that breaks my heart, it makes me feel like my money's wasted, my time that I invested in the school. And so that is the number one problem with the sport right now, and the number one disconnect between the fans and the actual sport. You talk about, watching the national championship game last night. We barely had it on. Obviously, we all know Ohio State, $20 million roster. And of course, we're sitting there thinking, can little Notre Dame, what? That's a bunch of horse hockey as well, right? Little Notre Dame.
But that's what they posit themselves as.
Right.
Oh, we're just Notre Dame.
They've got NIL as well, but you just know that the roster is so stacked, and they're probably going to win. And it's fine. But they went to the portal and they spent $13 million on Caleb Downs and on Quinshon Judkins and on Will Howard and on Seth McLaughlin and on, whoever they wanted to, because they saw Ohio State go do it. And it's like, it's fine. It's transferring it. Like, are you paying Caleb Downs $3 million if you have to sit out a year? No. Period. You're not.
And I mean, you heard Caleb Downs was asked about it, and he kind of alluded to, he didn't outright say it, but when he was asked about it prior leading up to the game, he alluded to it a little bit that like he didn't really want to leave Alabama that bad. It was just he couldn't pass up what he was offered.
Exactly. It's stupid. The portal is the biggest threat to the sport because, and I don't have any problem with you leaving. But if you leave, you got to sit out a year. You got to, like, something has to change in that fashion. And like people talk about, oh no, when you get to the school, you need to sign a 2-year contract. No. But you need to know if I go from University of Western State to Eastern State, well, I probably have to sit out a semester. I probably have to sit out something, even if it's a semester of spring football. Like you don't get to play in spring football. You got to be like you have to just do academics for like if you hit the winter portal, you can't participate with the team.
How about we tell kids if they transfer, they have to graduate from that school and they're not allowed to leave early and go to the NFL.
Something like that. There's got to be some sort of punitive punishment.
I like the idea of maybe forcing you to sit out the spring semester and miss out on that.
And maybe you're good enough to play to start anyways in the fall. Great, you're Billy Badass.
I think this plan, like you said, it would allow for those few players, the rare players like that, like maybe Carson Beck this year at Miami, who knows? But there's always a couple of guys like that in every transfer cycle. Obviously, Caleb Downs was one this year. He could have shown up at Ohio State the day before the season started and been on that defense probably. Like. There's always a couple of guys like that. So I think if you limited it to just maybe the spring or just a period before the season or even just a portion of the season to where
6
they weren't
games.
Yeah. I think
that this first half of the year,
that would allow for those types of players, the rare ones who are that good, to still benefit from the full like transfer experience, kind of where they still get to like go play somewhere else and really utilize their full time there.
Obviously, the players would come back and say, "Oh, it's unconstitutional,
whatever,
against my right."
I don't even think they know what that means.
But like, all you do is extend their eligibility on the back end. Yeah. Look, it's so easy. You do it anyways. You've done it for the last 5 years with COVID. So you just extend. You just say, "Buddy, you're sitting out, but we're not robbing this year from you."
No,
you get it on the back end,
sure,
but you got to sit out.
I would be perfectly fine with that.
Okay, maybe you're a 29-year-old senior because you transferred 8 times or whatever, but you did sit out and you kept kicking your eligibility down the can.
Whatever. I mean, did you see that? And this is not an example of that, but you just made me think of it. I think Eastern Carolina, their punter transfer, at the end of the transfer, he's 32 years old.
Dude, go get a job.
He started playing football when he was 28.
The working world sucks, but.
I was talking to my friends about it. Like, does he show up to parties? Like, is he out with the team?
What's up, fellow kids?
Yeah, it's that me, Steve Buscemi with a skateboard. What's up, fellow kids? Yeah, it's terrible, buddy. Get a job. Man, but yeah, college football. Like you have shown that you are perfectly fine with just extending eligibility for players that really do not deserve it. Let's be honest, but whatever. This is the route they've chosen to go. So let's just do that. Make them sit out the year. Tack that other year on at the end of the eligibility and say you still got it. You just got to use it later. I think
you've got to fix the portal because
that's the real issue.
Right, that's what erodes the sport. Because I don't have any issue. I'm not involved in any NIL entity, but like if I was a big time fan, I wouldn't have any issue donating if I knew that player X was going to be here. And if player X really didn't want to be here and wants to transfer out, wants to go somewhere else, well, he's going to have to think about that decision. And sure, that player X might go to Auburn. It might break my heart. Like that's still a possibility. But he's not going to be playing for them next year. It's one. I don't know.
I'm with you. Something has to be done. I think that's where you have to address the issue.
Because I don't think NIL caps is even possible.
No, I don't think it is. Unless you separate the SEC and the Big Ten from everybody else pretty much.
Or you set the NIL caps at like $6 million.
Yeah.
Like you make it.
Or you force the talent to spread out across everywhere else. That would be okay too, sure. But that's not going to happen. Ohio State,
you'd have players. You're limiting my earning power. You're limiting my own earning potential. I'm suing you. Boom. Yep. And the players will win that easy. Mm-hmm. So I don't think NIL. Coach, love you. Definitely. Look, you have forgotten more football than I'll ever know. And your experience is very valued
still rooting for you to be college football commissioner.
But I think you missed this one here, brother.
I agree.
Sir, not brother. Sir. I think you missed this one.
I think, Coach, you need to take a look at the transfer portal and maybe readjust your argument.
All right, Mason, we got to get out of here for the day. I think my boss is about to call me and give me a lot of curse words for not doing my job. We'll see.
Hey, real quick from Josh Pate, early week 1 spreads, courtesy of FanDuel, Alabama -7.5 at Florida State. Who in their right mind would bet their money on a game this far, 221 days away?
Degenerate.
That's amazing.
I'll have a Florida State fan.
I'm taking Alabama in the points.
DM me that. I'll have a Florida State fan. I'll see if I can set something up today with him. I'm serious. Hey, buddy, you want to do a little wager?
That's pretty good.
7.5. You guys got what's the kid's name? Castellanos. Castellanos. Dude, Gene Chizik is going to. It's not Gene Chizik. No, Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
Gus Malzahn is going to run Castellanos all over that swarm defense. It's going to be the Oklahoma game plan all over. It's going to be Oklahoma, Diego Pavia.
We'll see what Kane Womack learned this offseason.
I promise you it's going to be like week one. Week 1, here's your final exam right off the rip, brother. Oh, gosh. That's a little scary. 7.5?
Mm-hmm.
You taking the Tide?
I'll take the Tide.
Roll Tide!
Taking the Tide and Austin Mack.
Dude,
that's who's going to be taking the field.
Because the offense is going to be scoring 55 points a game. Austin Mack to Rico Scott down the sidelines. They're going to use Ryan Williams in the slot just as like you cannot cover him. There's literally no one in the interior that can cover him. Oh, but we're also going to have somebody on the outside, Jeremy Bernard, X receiver, that's just going to be a beater. And that's going to be
we're on the 10-yard line. Goal line fade, Isaiah Horton.
That's
fade back corner of the end zone. Catch everything, buddy.
Nick Sheridan. I think we're going to really find out what Nick Sheridan can do this coming season. So we'll get into all that as we keep going. Off-season's got a long way to go. We will talk about Alabama's basketball game against the Vanderbilt Commodores tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show. We appreciate everybody who watched us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. You listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. You guys are telling people about the show. I appreciate that because the download numbers are going up, and we appreciate that so much. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show, live from the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios with our friend Mason Woods, right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.